Alright guys, welcome back to yet another video. Today is actually going to be a small tutorial where I am going to be showing you guys a small and neat little trick that I'm doing when I'm editing. And I actually just want to show you guys this because it is super helpful when you're editing slow-mo footage, especially B-roll footage. I actually have a video planned out for how I shoot my B-roll and how I edit my B-roll, so look out for that. But anyways, let's just jump right into computer and I will show you how to do this neat little trick. So guys, now we jump into the actual computer here and we actually have our timeline opened right here in Premiere Pro. If you don't use Premiere Pro, this tutorial is just going to be completely useless for you. But if you're using Premiere Pro, this is going to be super helpful whenever you're doing B-roll, whenever you're doing any sort of stuff that you want to slow the clip down but still want to be stable. Just follow along here. I'll break it down step by step how I do it. So yeah. So now let's jump over here to our timeline and we can actually see right here that we have, just a second. So yeah, we actually have our timeline opened here. And what we can do is we want to make a B-roll sequence, right? And you want your footage to be slowly, or you want to slow your footage down so it looks cinematic and the basic of B-roll, right? But you still want it to be non-shaky, you still want it to be very buttery smooth. So what you want to do is, because that, let's just say I want this to be slowed down to 50%, so let's just go ahead and type 50% right here. So now your footage is actually slowed down 50%, and it is slowed down. This was shot in 50 frames per second, so that's why it isn't like that buttery smooth. And you can see I actually shaked a bit here because this is handheld footage. So what you want to do, you want to go ahead and you want to apply, you want to go up to your effects control here, or not your effects control, you want to go into effects, type in warp, and then warp stabilizer will automatically appear. Then you want to drag that warp stabilizer onto the clip. Then you get this warning: warp stabilizer requires clip dimensions to match sequence fixed by nesting. It's very easy to do this. Basically, fixed by nesting, you gotta press Command C or Command Z, and that will totally reset that warp stabilizer thing you just applied to the clip. So basically, just go one step back by pressing the Command C, Command Z. It's actually different from Premiere Pro to Premiere Pro. That just depends on how your settings are, but by default, your Command Z should be one step backwards. So when you do that, you have the fresh clip right here, slowed down 50%, and then you want to right click and click nest. You want to just press enter, and that will create a new nested clip. So that just means that now we can drag our warp stabilizer onto the actual clip here, and you can see now it is analyzing in background step 1 of 2, and that is basically now footage just doing its job by stabilizing your shaky handheld footage. And because that you wanted to get this like slow motion footage, but you didn't want to compromise by having shaky footage too, you want to have both of those just to get the most cinematic things. And when you don't have a lot of money and you're on a budget and you don't have, you just can't afford like big stabilizers and whatever, just stabilizers, and you just have to get those cinematic shots handheld. This is a neat little trick that you can do to basically just help the process. Like, you don't need a stabilizer. You can basically just shoot handheld and then fix this with the warp stabilizer. But most of the time it works, but in some cases, if you have really shaky footage, it's just gonna look terrible because then the footage is gonna be all warbly and like so you really don't want to. You really want to look out for that warbly footage. So just keep that in mind. If it looks weird, just don't apply it. Then you have to compromise and just say nope, I'm not gonna use the clip. Now you can actually see that it is done rendering or whatever it's doing. You can see it is super slow and smooth, and it just looks so good. And then you just have to cut it to the beat and all that stuff, which I will explain in another video. So you can see there, it's just buttery smooth, super smooth. Looks like 120 frames per second, even though this only was shot in 50 frames per second. So there you have it. This is how you do the warp stabilizer with a slowed down clip. There you have it, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Give it a big thumbs up if you like this tutorial. So if you want to see more tutorials like this, be sure to comment down below what tutorial I should do next, and I will see you guys in the next video as always. Bang!